Hello everyone. Today in this video we will discuss this chapter, A Letter to God, which is in class 10 first flight book, and this has been written by G.L Fuentes. Now first of all let us discuss the title. It's quite funny, A Letter to God. So here we have a farmer. When he is struck by a hailstorm and all the field is destroyed, he writes a letter to God for help, which is very unrealistic and impractical. And these are the two main qualities of this farmer. His name is Lencho. So let us read this very interesting story, A Letter to God. The house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill. From this height, one could see the river and the field of ripe corn dotted with the flowers that always promised a good harvest. Crest is the top of the hill. So this house is the house of the farmer Lencho, and it was located on the top of the hill, as you can see here in this image also. And from here he could see the entire area, because when his house is located on the top of the hill, so the entire valley is visible to him. So there was a river and there was his field which was full of corn and it was ripe, so it was ready, and there were flowers also on it, and so he could say that he had a good harvest, a good crop was there. The only thing that the earth needed was a downpour, or at least a shower. Throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his fields intimately, had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. Downpour is a heavy rainfall and shower means a mild rain, and intimately means that closely. He knew the field very well. Now his crop needed a shower, a very mild rain. But he felt that the earth needed a downpour, means the earth was very dry and a good rainfall was required. So the whole day he was looking at the sky. Why was he looking at the sky? Because he's a very intelligent farmer. So by looking at the sky, he can make out whether the rain is about to come or not. So that is why the northeast, why he was looking at the northeast direction, because from where that direction only the clouds will come which will bring the rain. So he was looking at the sky the whole day waiting for rainfall. Now we are really going to get some water, woman. The woman who was preparing supper replied, Yes, God willing. The older boys were working in the field while the smaller ones were playing near the house until the woman called to them all, Come for dinner. It was during the meal that, just as Lencho had predicted, big drops of rain began to fall. Now Lencho talks to the wife and he says that we're really going to get some water. So he's saying that it will rain. He predicted that rain will come. So she was cooking and she said that yes, if God wills, we will get rain. So this shows their faith in God. The entire family has a very deep faith in God. So their children, their sons, were working in the field, and the smaller ones were playing near the house. And the woman had cooked the meal, so she called them and she called them for dinner. And when they were eating, so as Lencho had predicted, rain started falling and there were big drops of rain. So very huge drops of rain were falling. Then what happens? In the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. The air was fresh and sweet. The man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body, and when he returned, he exclaimed, These aren't raindrops falling from the sky, they are new coins. The big drops are tens and pieces, and the little ones are fives. Now, when Lencho went out after the meal, he looked in the northeast direction and he saw huge mountains of clouds were approaching. Means a lot of rain would fall. Now the air was fresh and sweet. The scent of a fresh rainfall brings this fragrance along with it. He went out and he was very happy. So he felt the raindrops falling on him. And when he came back inside, he told his family that these raindrops are not water. They are coins. Coins means money, the money that they are going to get when they sell their crop. And he says that the big raindrops are 10-cent coins and the smaller ones are 5 cent coins. So this shows that Lencho is extremely happy that rain is falling and it will improve their crop. With a satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with its flowers, draped in a curtain of rain. But suddenly, a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. These truly did resemble new silver coins. The boys, exposing themselves to the rain, ran out to collect the frozen pearls. Drape means covered with something, covered with cloth, but here it was draped with rain. And he says draped in a curtain of rain because rain was quite heavy, so it seemed like an entire sheet of water. Now, here he says that Lencho was very satisfied that his entire field was drenched in water and that water would benefit the crop. But suddenly, what happened? There was a hailstorm. Hailstones started falling. So the kids were very happy and very excited, and the writer says these truly resembled new silver coins. Just like now, Lencho had said that the raindrops are not water but they are coins, and now our writer says that the hailstones were absolutely similar to silver coins because they are solid. So they're just like a coin. And then he says that the boys exposing themselves to the rain. So the boys ran out of the house and they started collecting the frozen pearls. Frozen pearls are the hailstones. They are frozen, they are snow, and they are like pearls. Their shape is round. So he calls them frozen pearls. Now what happens? It's really getting bad now, exclaimed the man. I hope it passes quickly. It did not pass quickly. For an hour the hail rained on the house, the garden, the hillside, the cornfield, on the whole valley. The field was white as if covered with salt. So now Lencho is disturbed because these hailstones, when they fall down, they fall with a lot of pressure, with a lot of force. So what these will do? They will damage the ripe crop of the corn which is there in the field. So it has been a long time since the hailstorm is there. So Lencho is worried and he wants it to end quickly. But it did not end because for an entire 1 hour the hailstorm was there. And after it, the entire field was white with the hailstones as if covered with salt. So it looked as if salt had been sprinkled because it was all white. There were hailstones all over the field. Then we come to know not a leaf remained on the trees. The corn was totally destroyed. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness. When the storm had passed, he stood in the middle of the field and said to his sons, a plague of locusts would have left more than this. The hail has left nothing. This year we will have no corn. So just see how quickly his situation has changed. A few minutes ago, he was very happy when rainfall was there. And now, when there is a hailstorm, he is sad. His entire crop, which he felt would be very good, it has been destroyed. There was not even a leaf on the trees. Everything had fallen down because of the forceful hailstones. Now the corn was totally destroyed. The flowers which were there on the corn plants were also destroyed. And he was very, very sad. And he said to his sons that if insects would have attacked my field, they would have destroyed my crop. The hailstorm has destroyed it much more than that. The extent of destruction is much more than the destruction that the insects would have made. And a plague of locusts means a group of insects which fly and they destroy such crops. So he is very sad and he says that the hail has left nothing and this year we will have no corn, no crop. That night was a sorrowful one. All our work for nothing. There is no one who can help us. We'll all go hungry this year. But in the hearts of all who lived in that solitary house in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope, help from God. So they all are praying to God because they know no one else can help us and they have immense faith in God. So they feel that, okay, now we are all left lonely, we don't have any crop, nothing to eat. So God will still help us because we are God's children. So they were praying to God. Don't seem so upset, even though this seems like a total loss. Remember that no one dies of hunger. That's what they say. No one dies of hunger. So this is what Lencho is saying to his family, that don't be upset. We will not die of hunger. God is there. He will take care of us. All through the night, Lencho thought only of one hope, the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. Lencho was an ox of a man, working like an animal in the fields, but still he knew how to write. Now, conscience is the inner sense of right and wrong. So here, Lencho, what does he feel? he has immense faith in God and he believes in God because God now, help from God is the only way out. He has lost everything. So he says that God knows even what is going on inside a person. So God knows my situation and God will help me. Lencho was an ox of a man. Ox of a man means he was very hardworking. He used to work in the fields day and night, and he also knew how to read and write. So he was an educated, literate man. The following Sunday at daybreak, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to town and place in the mail. It was nothing less than a letter to God. Daybreak means dawn, when sun rises. So the next day was a Sunday, so he thought that okay, I'll write a letter to God for help and I'll go myself to the post office and I'll mail that letter. So Lencho, I agree that he has immense faith in God and do we really do that? Many of us have faith in God. We believe in the existence of God. We also pray to God. But do we ever write letters to God? No. So this shows his blind faith. He has gone blind. He's so impractical that he does not know that there is no address where you can send a letter to God. If you want help from God also, what is the best way to seek help from God? You pray to God, and inside you have that faith that yes, God will help me. That is the only way to connect with God, right? So here we see that he is blinded, he is impractical when he is planning to send a letter to God. God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes because the hailstorm. Now, pesos is a currency of many Latin American countries, and from here we can say that perhaps Lencho is a farmer in South American countries. Here you can see the countries that have been highlighted in the map. These countries, here you can see Spain also. So they have the currency of pesos. So he writes this letter to God and he tells him that you are the only one who can help me. Otherwise, we will die of hunger and I need 100 pesos in order to sow the crop in my fields again and to sustain myself till the crop grows. And then he is again further writing because the hailstorm has destroyed everything. So he marked the envelope and he wrote on the envelope to God and he put the letter inside the envelope and he mailed it. At the post office, he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. So Lencho has mailed this letter to God. One of the employees, who was a postman and also helped at the post office, went to his boss laughing heartily and showed him the letter to God. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address. Now there was one postman and he took out this letter from the post box and he was very amazed and shocked to see that someone has posted a letter to God. So he went to the postmaster and he showed the letter to him. The postmaster, a fat, amiable fellow, also broke out laughing. But almost immediately he turned serious and tapping the letter on his desk commented, what faith! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter. Starting up a correspondence with God. Amiable means pleasant or friendly manner. And correspondence means a communication. And here it is through the exchange of letters. So the postmaster was a fat and chubby man and he was very friendly and happy, jolly natured fellow. So he also started laughing when he saw that someone has sent a letter to God. And then when he read the letter, he was also amazed by the immense faith that the person has, the sender of the letter. And he said that I hope even I could do something like this, starting a correspondence with God, starting a communication with God through letters. And then, so in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea, answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it, he needed something more than goodwill, ink, and paper. Now, the postman is quite realistic and he is practical and he knows that God will not reply the letter. But still, he does not want to shake the faith of this sender. So, what he feels that okay, we will reply to the letter. And when he opens the letter, he reads it, he realizes that in order to answer the letter, in order to send a reply, he needs something more than goodwill, ink, and paper. So, what does he need? He needs 100 pesos because that is the help which the sender has asked from God. So he realized that, okay, if I have to reply to the letter, I will have to send him money also. But he stuck to his resolution. He asked for money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary, and several friends of his were obliged to give something for an act of charity. Resolution means decision. So he was very firm. The postmaster had once decided that, okay, I will reply to the letter so that the faith of the sender is restored. So what he did, he collected money from the employees of the post office. He also gave a part of his salary, and he also took money from his friends for a charitable cause. And so he collected money. He was aiming at collecting 100 pesos. It was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos, so he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half. He put the money in an envelope addressed to Lencho, and with it a letter containing only a single word as a signature, God. So what he did, when he collected the money, he was only able to collect around something more than half the amount. So half is 50. So he was able to collect something more than 50 pesos. But still he thought, okay, something is better than nothing. So he took an envelope, put the money in it, and just wrote God on it and addressed it to Lencho. And he kept this envelope with him that when Lencho will come, he will give it to him. The following Sunday, Lencho came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him. It was the postman himself who handed the letter to him, while the postmaster, of a man who had performed a good deed, looked on from his office, experiencing the contentment. Contentment is satisfaction. So the next Sunday, Lencho again came to the post office and asked if there was a letter for him, because he was expecting, his faith is so immense that he was expecting that God will reply to his letter. So the postman gave him the letter, and the postmaster was looking at Lencho, and he was feeling that, okay, this farmer will feel very happy that yes, God has replied to my letter and he has even helped me. So the postmaster wanted to retain the man's faith. Lencho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money. Such was his confidence, but he became angry when he counted the money. God could not have made a mistake, nor could he have denied Lencho what he had requested. Now, why is Lencho angry? Because he had asked for 100 pesos, but the amount in the envelope is less. So, first of all, he feels that, okay, God cannot cheat me. When I have asked him for 100 pesos, he will give me 100 pesos. So, he is very angry that where has the balance money gone? Immediately, Lencho went up to the window to ask for paper and ink. On the public writing table, he started to write with much wrinkling of his brow, caused by the effort he had to make to express his ideas. Now, Lencho is very angry and he is pent up. So, what he does, he hurriedly goes to the writing desk and takes a paper and pen, and he writes down a letter to God, and his eyebrows are also wrinkled because he is full of emotions, full of anger, and he has to think what he has to write in the letter. So he is very emotional and very angry. So his eyebrows are also wrinkling. When he finished, he went to the window to buy a stamp, which he licked and then affixed to the envelope with a blow of his fist. Blow of a fist means that he made a punch, and with that he hit the stamp so that it got pasted to the envelope. So when he finished writing the letter, he took a stamp, he bought it from the window of the post office, he licked it and he punched it hard on the envelope so that it got stuck to it. And then what he did? The moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster went to open it. It said, God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest since I need it very much. But don't send it to me through the mail, because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Lencho. Crooks means cheats. So, what was the postmaster expecting? He was expecting gratitude, thankfulness from this farmer, because God had listened to him, God had sent him a reply, and God had sent him some money in return for his request to send him 100 pesos. But what does the postmaster get? He gets this comment that he is a bunch of crooks. He is a bunch of cheat. So the farmer Lencho is so innocent that he blames the helpers, those people who are like a messenger of God, who have helped Lencho, who have collected the 70 pesos and given to him are blamed and are called cheats by Lencho. He is such an innocent fellow. He tells to God that I had asked you for 100 pesos, but I have received only 70. So perhaps the post office employees are cheats and they have stolen the money from the envelope. So send me the balance money, but don't send it through the post office because the staff over here is a group of cheats. So, what do we call Lencho? He's such an innocent fellow, or perhaps he is not at all practical, that he does not realize that who has sent the letter back to him? God does not reply letters. So, he should have thought that perhaps someone else is a messenger of God who is helping me, and this is the best that he could do. But no, Lencho's blind faith makes him so impractical that he is blaming those people who have helped him and he is calling them a bunch of crooks. So, this is the end of the story, and here we have read the chapter A Letter to God, and we have seen an amazing character, Lencho, how his blind faith and his impracticability leads him to blame his helpers, to blame the messengers of God as a bunch of crooks. Thank you for watching this video. If you want the lesson notes, if you want the character sketches or important question and answers of this chapter, the links are given in the description box below this video.